Welcome to Top Advisor Marketing, where you will learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your practice. Brought to you by Top Advisor Podcasting, a done-for-you podcasting solution built just for trusted advisors. And now, your co-hosts of Top Advisor Marketing, Kirk Lowe and Matt Halloran.
Hello and welcome to another Top Advisor Marketing podcast. As many of you know, I was a coach for a number of years, and one of the firms that I coached ended up being one of my absolutely favorite firms, and things have come totally full circle. I'm so excited about interviewing our guest today. Not only have they created the Ultimate Advisor Coaching Program, but also just the growth and the culture within this firm is a lot about what we're going to talk about today. But Brittany Anderson is our guest. She is the COO and co-founder of the Ultimate Advisor Coaching Program. She's also co-authored 2 books, Dare to Dream, Design the Retirement You Want, or You Can't Wait to Wake Up to and Imagine, Act, Inspire, a Daily Journal. And she's also, you guys do all sorts of video and audio and podcasting and conferences. This is super exciting. So Brittany, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matt. I'm so excited to be here today and just excited to talk to you.
You know, it's been a while. So let's talk about the history. We can talk about our history in a second, but let's talk about your history. How did you get here? I mean, how did you get to co-authoring books and being in financial services and co-founding this amazing coaching program?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think back to almost 11 years ago. I got this itch. I saw this job posting for an open position at Sweet Financial Services out of Fairmont, Minnesota. And no joke, I felt compelled to apply. It was one of those things. I was reading about their culture, reading about the history of the firm, the impact that they make on clients. And I was like, I've got to work there. So that really kind of kicked off my experience with the financial advisory world. I basically worked several different positions within the company, really learning the ins and outs, learning how to best serve clients. And through that progression, Brian and I, Brian, the CEO and founder of Sweet Financial Services, we found this commonality between us, and that was really wanting to make an impact on a bigger scale. So that's where this talk of coaching came into play, and we decided to form a company called Dare to Dream Enterprises, which really were like, okay, we're not 100% sure what this is going to be, but we know we want to do some form of coaching. So through time, through progression, through some of Brian's connections, we actually had been asked multiple different times how we manage our operations, how we manage our marketing. Brian was getting questions. This is, again, not a joke. How do you find a Brittany, right? How do you find somebody who can run your firm and free you up to do whatever the heck you want? So really, that's where Ultimate Advisor Coaching formulated from, is we're like, hey, we want to be able to help other financial advisors not work themselves to death, streamline their practices, really gear themselves up for success, and be able to have a firm that runs on its own, that's self-managed per se. So that is kind of in a nutshell my history and how I got to where I'm at today.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with the firm, Sweet Financial Services has been in the top of Raymond James top producers for absolutely forever. Brittany, when you were hired, so I was working with your firm when you were hired. I was actually working with Ty, who is, I think, now one of the partners. Is that correct?
He is, yes.
Yeah. And with the big thing that I focused on early on in our relationship was you actually taking over a lot of those roles and responsibilities that Ty had. Ty at the time was an associate wealth advisor, another wealth advisor in the firm, and you were like this sponge. And I remember talking to Brian and talking to Ty, and they're like, man, I don't know where she came from. Like, this is like a gift to us. And I've talked about it a lot. In fact, Kirk and I, in growing Top Advisor Marketing, we have our Brittany. Her name is Lisa, right? You have to have a you in your firm, in any company, in order to make it work. And because that's actually what Ultimate Advisor Coaching really is. Why I wanted to bring you on the podcast, one, is just because I think you're awesome. And two, because you're covering areas that other coaching programs aren't covering. Is that a fair statement?
That's a very fair statement. And I do want to add, Matt, you made a comment that I think is so relevant. And just the fact that I think the biggest struggle that a lot of financial advisory practices have, especially the advisors that would kind of fall into the entrepreneurial category, is that they don't always have an implementer or an integrator. So I think that's a really important thing to touch on, is that in order to kind of take your business to the next level or scale per se, you've got to have somebody on your team that can take your great ideas, that can take your best ideas and actually bring them to life and put them into action. So I think that's a great statement that you made, and is just so true. Everybody needs a Lisa, or, touting myself for a second, a Brittany,
Yeah,
that you need an
absolutely.
integrator, you need an implementer.
In every firm that I've ever worked with, whether it's in a marketing capacity, a podcasting capacity, or coaching capacity, the firms that really did hit that next level and I refer to you as the number two, right? I mean, that's the or in your situation, it kind of be more like a one and a half, but I mean, we just jokingly call them the number two. It is that COO. And the other thing that you did, which was fantastic, was you had the courage, the strength, the fortitude, and the mindset to be able to say no. And I think that's what makes the greatest number twos around there, the greatest Brittany's, the greatest implementers, is when because advisors come back and they have shiny object syndrome, right?
Mhm.
Oh, here's a great idea. And you're like, it's not part of the big time plan. And, you have positioned yourself so well within the organization that when you say no, they're like, okay, yep, that's right. So let's talk about the mindset piece, because I think that mindset, when it comes to culture, when it comes to the COO, when it comes to the implementer, is wildly important. And you named the company, with this whole idea of this dare to dream. Let's start breaking down what you've built, and let's start with mindset, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think that mindset actually is more important than anything else when it comes to growing your business. And the reason that I say that is that I think that in today's world, you get a lot of people, and a lot of people surprisingly in the financial advisor space, that get into kind of the stinking thinking mode, right? Where you get to this place of maybe complacency, and it's like, well, yeah, I could grow my business, but I don't want to do what he's doing. Or I could get to the next level, but she's done that before and it just doesn't work. So I think getting your head in the right space, and I would attribute my own growth and the growth that I see with others within our Ultimate Advisor coaching platform, is that they are growth minded, they're growth oriented. And you talked a little bit about the shiny object syndrome. And we joke about that within Sweet Financial all the time, because I think Brian to this day has never encountered an idea that he doesn't love. But being able to reel that in and keep your brain focused on what is what we call and what we use is the vivid vision. So Cameron Herold, great book called Vivid Vision. It's a really clear path for getting crystal clear, total clarity around the direction that you want your company to go, looking out into a 3-year window. But that's really what we use to base all of our decisions off of. So for me, part of my role is being able to be that person or that filter for Brian within his firm, to help coach other advisors and say, hey, yeah, that's a great idea. I love that idea, but it's just not good right now. So you have to be willing to say no in order to say yes to other things. And the other thing I wanted to touch on in regards to mindset, you got me thinking about this a little bit, is there's this thing called in our brain, the reticular activating system. Matt, have you done any study research around that at all?
No, I'm super excited to learn
Oh
about it.
gosh, this is so good then. So I just like I coach others. I actually have multiple different coaching programs that I participate in, because again, when it comes to mindset, I think growth is just absolutely essential to growing as a person and growing your business. So when you look at what's called the reticular activating system, it's essentially that whole thing where if you decide that you're going to tomorrow buy a red Suburban, all of a sudden you're seeing red Suburbans everywhere. And you're not seeing those because everybody on the planet is like, yes, red Suburbans are the thing right now. You're seeing it because your brain is all of a sudden focused on that one thing. So the way that I like to bring this down to business is that when you look at your mindset, when you look at growing your business, your reticular activating system is going to help you succeed or it's going to help you fail. Because if you're looking for ways that you cannot grow, that you have stunted, that you have hit a ceiling of complexity, your brain is naturally going to find evidence to support that thought. It's naturally ingrained beliefs. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to a positive mindset, without getting woo woo on you here at all, when you're looking for growth opportunities, when you're looking for ways to integrate better, ways to say no to certain things so you can say yes to others, your brain, through this reticular activating system, is going to naturally find ways to break through those ceilings of complexity and find ways to support your growth. So when you look at mindset, it's really more powerful than what you even realize, because there's things in our brain that we cannot control. So when you're looking for the good, you're going to find evidence of that. When you're looking for the bad, you're going to find evidence of that too. So keeping your head in the right state of mind is just essential in growing your business. And that's actually one of the first modules that we teach on, because it is so important and it sets you up for success in going through any sort of coaching program across the board.
Well, let's switch gears and talk more about, after they get done with that piece, then you really dive in and unpack, again, some things that a lot of other coaching programs haven't touched, which is really focusing on the team and really focusing on it not being about the advisor. Would you mind elaborating on those?
Yeah, that's I would say, again, when you look at kind of the pillar or the level of importance, when you look at focusing in on your team. So John Ruhlin has a really good book. It's called Giftology. The whole premise is built on providing unique experiences for your clientele that are going to make you stand out. So I like to bring that back down a level, because I think in order to truly provide a unique experience for your clientele, for your prospects, you have to give your team that same level of experience. So if you are going to try to wow a client, wow a prospect, and you expect your team to participate in that, give them the experience of being wowed themselves. So when I look at, let's just talk about a gifting strategy really quick. I think this is an easy one for people to get their hands around. We actually implemented John Ruhlin. I don't get any sort of compensation for this. I have no affiliation with him, but it's just such a good book and a good concept. But we implemented his gifting strategy. So when you look at Christmas time, for example, so Christmas, you expect gifts, right? Like if you get a gift from somebody, you're not like, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised that I got a Christmas present, right? You might be maybe pleasantly surprised in a way, getting something from somebody that you maybe didn't expect, but it's kind of that 'tis the season mentality. Now, with this particular strategy that we've employed is we actually don't gift at Christmas time. We gift in January, because the hustle and bustle of the holidays has died down. The shuffle of just kind of filtering, there's a billion Christmas cards people are getting, people are busy, they have holiday experiences with their families. We want a chance to be able to stand out to them and have it be remembered so that it's impactful. So if you're expecting your team to deliver some sort of experience like that, do the same thing for them. Surprise and delight them on the back end so that they know how good it feels and they're excited to deliver that to your team. So I think that's just something, again, the gifting strategy is just a really simple example, but I think it's so important, if you're going to try to provide an experience for your clients, provide it to your team as well.
I absolutely love that. People, especially with millennial and young Generation X team members, it's not always about money. I remember, Brittany, I'm sure you've heard this 100 times, but they get a paycheck every 2 weeks. That's my thank you. And that's not how it works anymore, and really probably never should have been how it worked. But I love that. When you have company core values, which I know you guys do, and you're living those core values, especially with the team, it becomes pervasive, right? And when clients call in, they're going to feel the same thing. And I love that. But when you coach advisors, one of the things, and this is very different, I want everybody to understand how different this is than other coaching programs, but very, very different, because you talk about stop making it about you, make it about the client, prospect, and also the team. Do you get resistance from that? And if so, how do you overcome that resistance? Because we have really big egos, Brittany, in this industry. So how do you deal with that?
Well, I'm glad you pointed out the ego thing, so I didn't have to be the bad guy here. um, that's another really good question, Matt. Yes, in short answer, yes, we absolutely get resistance, and it's not because the advisor necessarily is like, no, I'm so wonderful that I need to talk about myself. That's not the type of resistance that we get. The resistance is that if I don't talk about myself, if I don't talk about my process, how am I differentiating myself? Right? So that's the comment. That's the resistance that we're getting. And my response to that is when you're looking at selling, right? Because in a nutshell, that's what we do as advisors. We sell. We're selling our process. We're selling our method. But people get too stuck in the whole idea of selling themselves. And that's what makes them uncomfortable, right? Because they're like, I have to be heard. I have to make sure that I get my message across. To flip that mindset, what I would encourage you to do, take your website, for example. Go to your website and look at how many times you use the word I, we, or my, right? My process. Here's what I can do for you. Here's what we do at XYZ company. And change that verbiage to say, here's the experience you're going to get. Here's what you can gain from this process. So again, you're getting into your client's mind and you're basically saying, here's how we can serve you, but saying it in a way that actually appeals to them. Because when you look at, again, the psyche or kind of the brain of any individual, you're looking for what's in it for you. I like to use this example as well. You know, if you're walking through an airport, to any of our travelers out there, you're walking through an airport and you're walking past one of those gift shops. And you know those little kiosks or those stands that have a million keychains with names on them. So it is natural human nature to be drawn to that because people like to see their name in print. That's what's in it for them, right? I can see my name. I'm not looking for Matt. I'm not looking for Brian. I'm looking for Brittany, right? That's the mindset that people come into when they're looking at how you can serve them in your business. So you have to make your verbiage about them. That simple website review is just a great place to start. Also, your collaterals, anything that's promoting your business, if it says anything about I, me, my, our, shift that to you, your, here's how it can impact you, and here's how it's going to change your life. Simple word changes, but it makes it more impactful.
Yeah, totally different feeling, right? I mean, I absolutely love that. That's darn good marketing advice right there. So if anybody, if you were just looking for one of your takeaways, you just got it, right? I mean, please make sure you write that down. Do that website review. Look and see how many times you're using those possessive, self-centered words and change it to being client-focused because it is the WIFM, right? What's in it for me? Everybody wants to have that what's in it for me. And very few websites, podcasts, social media posts have anything to do with me trying to get you to experience what it's like to work with us before you ever walk in the door. And that's really what true marketing really is. So let's talk about marketing. We're going to switch gears here now. What is your stance on marketing, Brittany? I mean, I know Brian comes back with, I should say, hundreds of thousands of ideas, you know, the greatest, latest marketing things, but most advisors don't even spend the bare minimum, which is 7%. They should be spending 15 to 20% on marketing, but they're not spending the money on the marketing. They don't value the marketing because they can't really see ROI directly. How do you handle that in the Ultimate Advisor Coaching Program?
Yeah. So one of the things that absolutely just grinds me, right? It just hits not a good nerve, is when people say, "I don't need marketing. I don't think that matters. I'm a referral based business." Okay. So that's great. First of all, I got to commend whoever is, driving their business by referrals. I think that's excellent, and that's a testament to the services that you're providing for your clients. But by not focusing on marketing, by not getting your message out, you are missing a huge opportunity. And the way that I like to phrase this with our clients, when we're talking marketing and we're getting somebody geared up who really hasn't had much experience with it, is that you need to believe so strongly in the value that you provide to your clients. You need to feel so strongly about how your process benefits the people that go through it, that you truly feel by not putting it out into the world, you are doing this world a disservice. So if you don't feel that passionately about your service, then that's something that you need to take a step back and look at how you can enhance your inner workings of your business. But if you really believe that you are the best at what you do, if you believe that you have something that's going to be life-changing and that can really benefit the people that work with you, then man, get that message out there. I like to give a good example of this. If you want to go to sweetfinancial.com, you can see an example of the wording or the messaging or indirect marketing that I like to say. So instead of saying, we see this on websites a lot, like your financial future, planning for your financial future. Financial future is on so many advisors' websites. It's like copy and paste across the board. But when you look at Sweet Financial's website, the first thing that you're going to see is a statement that says, it's your dream, we'll help you get there. Right? So when you look at, that's our process. And when you look at what we market to people, what we market to our target niche or our target demographic, it's that message. It's about them. It's your dream. And we believe so strongly in it that we are absolutely going to market it and put it out there, because if you're not working with us and you fit in our niche, then we feel like you're not getting the best service that you possibly can. So really, it's believing in your process, believing in your systems, and feeling confident enough to put it out there. You do not have to be salesy. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions with marketing, is that people feel that marketing is equivalent to being salesy, being pushy. And it absolutely is not. It's communicating how you can help and putting it in front of the right people.
Dear God, I'm going to take that statement you just made and I'm going to post that everywhere. We say that a lot. And Brittany, when you say things over and over again and it seems to fall on somewhat deaf ears, I mean, not entirely, you think you're crazy. So thank you very much for reinforcing that all of us here at Top Advisor Marketing aren't insane, that we're in line with another firm that's going out and kicking butt and taking names and really truly trying to help advisors do exactly that. That's what our whole existence is, just like yours is to try to help advisors who are truly unique and different get their voice out there into the marketplace so that we can overcome and what we call be your own loud, right? We want you to rise above the noise that's out there that we all have to fight against, from all of these humongous corporations that are spending lots of money and unfortunately providing some information that's not 100% accurate. You said systems, right? Now, I know that you are a very systems-oriented firm, and that is one of your humongous value propositions. And when you're building those systems, you are keeping this idea of helping people to achieve their dreams and it being about them. How do you help advisors implement systems? And after they do have this value proposition, this values-based systems put in place, what does that do for the advisor?
Yes. So systems, we absolutely are 100% a systems oriented business, really in all of the business ventures that we're involved with. We like to make a joke at Sweet Financial that we actually have a process for how to write a process. And I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. So systems are absolutely the way to go. And the reason for it is, there's this thing out there. I don't know if you've ever heard it before, but it's called human error. I know we like to think that we are great at remembering things. I mean, what's that quote out there that says, the biggest lie that I tell myself is that I'll remember that. So that's really what the whole premise of systems and processes is built off of, is realizing that if you can have documented procedures, documented processes for how you service your clients, for your inner operations within your business, that is what is going to help you scale. Because if you are going on these one-off tangents and you're like, oh yeah, we did this for this client, but we actually did it this way for this prospect, and then we did it this way for this person, it's a convoluted mess. And unfortunately, I see that a lot when you don't have particularly documented processes and systems. So what we like to do with any of our coaching clients, when we first bring them on board, we start with kind of the fundamentals. And what's the one biggest process that you don't want to screw up? That's your onboarding of a prospect. So that's really typically where we start, is saying, get that documented, get that so tight that it cannot be messed up. And then we go kind of pyramid ways from there. So we look at what are some of the other integral processes that could either cost you money, that could expose your business in a negative way, or that could actually cause turnover, because that's a big one, turnover for your team or turnover for your clientele. And that's really where we start tackling some of these systems, processes, and procedures. And in answer to your question, once they get those implemented, there's this word that keeps popping up after we hear kind of the results end of this, and it's freedom. Right? So the reps feel like, man, I can focus on the things that I'm passionate about, that I'm excited about, and I don't have to worry about the whirlwind because it's documented. And we actually take it one step further from there by giving them tools and resources so that when a mistake does happen, when human error kind of sneaks back into the process, there's a way for the team members to course correct in a way that really creates and amplifies that kind of self-managed company concept. So really, it's just making sure that you've got your I's dotted, your T's crossed, you're servicing the heck out of your clients, and you're doing it in a consistent way. That's really the core of what systems and processes are about.
I'm going to play devil's advocate with you here, and I hope that's all right. One of the things that makes a great advisor is attention to detail and control, right? That's actually really what I want in a financial services professional. But I don't necessarily want that in the advisor. I want that in the company. How do you remove the advisor from that level of detail-oriented micromanagement to empower the team to do what the team does so the advisor can stay in there?
Yeah, so the first thing that we do is we put really good locks on the doors to just keep them penned up. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's such a good question. That is a big struggle, especially for the advisors that have been in business for 30, 40 years, that have really built their business from the ground up, right? That remember going back and, man, I slept in the office. I made cold calls for 16 hours straight. The people that have really scraped to build amazing businesses now, it's because of their attention to detail. And that is what makes a great advisor. But what I would challenge advisors in that mindset to do is to understand that if you put the right people in the right seats, your sole role in the company is to make sure that you're fostering great relationships with your clients. That is your sole focus. So by capturing the wisdom and that attention to detail that's all up in your brain and putting it to paper, it's like putting yourself in a million different places at once, and it gives your team a structure to follow. So that's how you can actually get your processes to paper, is by taking that stuff out of your head, taking that high attention to detail, putting it down on paper. I can't stress, I think I said on paper like 4 times now, because I can't stress it enough. You've got to have those procedures and what's in your head documented on paper so you can put the people in the seats to be able to follow them and execute time and time again.
You talk about efficient versus effective too, because I think that follows the conversation that we're having right now. Can you define those words and how changing that mindset can change your practice?
Yes. When you look at the term efficient, I hear that a ton, right? In the coaching world too. You look at becoming more efficient. When you look at anything that's related to productivity, time management, becoming more efficient is a word that's used greatly. But the problem with that is that you can be efficient at really dumb things. You can be efficient at wasting time. If you want to think about that, you could be I know people who spend so much time organizing their lives to become efficient in that they are missing any sort of effectiveness. So when we're coaching people, we actually focus on the effective end of the spectrum. How can you be effective? How can you actually scale your business in an effective way? You can be efficient in a lot of different things, but if you're not effective, you're not going to get the results. And that typically resonates with advisors because a lot of advisors are very results driven or results oriented individuals. So that efficient versus effective tends to resonate when we look at growing their practice practice and when we look at enhancing their systems and procedures behind the scenes.
Brittany, since you've been coaching so many people and getting so deep in your hands in so many aspects of financial services practice, if you were able to give new agents or new advisors a piece of advice from all of this vast experience, what would it be?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I would give to a new or growing advisor is to try to really eliminate any limiting beliefs that you have. And what I mean by limiting beliefs is, I think it's really easy, especially when you're new in business, to be like, man, I wish I could do what that advisor is doing. Like he must be, way more skilled than I am, or smarter, or more efficient, or more effective, or whatever the case is. So really getting those limiting beliefs out of your head, focusing on opportunities, and really surrounding yourself with growth-minded individuals who are going to push you to be your best, who are going to encourage you to kind of reach for the stars, per se. I think that is one of the biggest attributes for myself and for other individuals that I've coached, is when they are surrounding themselves with big thinkers, with positive individuals, with people who are making them think about things in a way that they never have before. That's where they experience exponential breakthroughs. So I highly encourage you, find somebody that you admire, find a group of people that you admire, and get yourself ingrained and indoctrinated into those groups, into those masterminds, into those friendships, per se. They're going to help you grow, and that's what's going to help you get to the next level.
All right, Brittany, if people want to get a hold of you and find out more about the Ultimate Advisor Coaching Program and all of the great things that you do, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, so they can go to ultimateadvisorcoaching.com, and you can actually schedule a consultation directly from our website. Total no obligation. We're happy to answer any questions, help you kind of troubleshoot anything that's going on in your business, and we can talk about how we could potentially help you down the road.
And do you have anything else? Do you have a blog? Do you have a podcast? What are the ways that people can connect with you?
Yes. So we have a podcast. It's myself, Brian Sweet, founder, CEO of Sweet Financial, and then our business partner, who is an absolute marketing automation guru, Dre Redfern. That podcast is Ultimate Advisor Podcast. You can find it on all the major podcast platforms.
And we will make sure that we have links to everything that you just said in our show notes. So, Brittany, thank you so much for taking time. I know that you're crazy busy. This was hugely valuable to our audience. And it was nice to hear your voice and connect again.
Well, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate being on here, and it was great to connect with you too.
If you have not subscribed to the podcast, click that subscribe now button below. And if you don't mind, give us a quick rating on iTunes. If you have an idea, a guest idea, or a topic idea that you want us to cover on the Top Advisor Marketing Podcast, just go ahead and email me at matt@topadvisorm.com. And that M is for marketing. We'll be more than happy to either have a call with you and talk to you about it a little bit more, or if there is a guest, we will go ahead and reach out and get them on the podcast. If you want to have a podcast, if you truly want to do a lot of the stuff that Brittany was talking about, having it be very client focused, getting your audience to experience what it's like to work with you, to interact with you, and to interact with your team. We firmly believe at Top Advisor Marketing that podcasting is the way that an advisor can do it in a very, very minimal time commitment with a very, very large impact. So for everybody at Sweet Financial Services, Ultimate Advisor Coaching, and all of us here at Top Advisor Marketing, this is Matt Halloran, and we'll see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Are you ready to change the way you communicate with your clients? Are you tired of being the best kept secret in your area? Learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your business. Contact us today and see what the power of podcasting can do for your business. Click on the Contact Us link on our website at topadvisormarketing.com and set up a call to learn more. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook for more updates and information.